Hello, everyone, and welcome, very warm welcome from RCF, and thanks to attend these webinars. This is Lucio Boiardi Serri. I'm a product specialist and system designer in RCF Professional Audio. So, hello, everybody. Hello, Panagiotis. And first of all, let me know if everything is okay with the video and audio. Massimo, is everything okay? Perfect. So,
Yes, I can see.
Before start, I would like to give the microphone to Massimo Bruni, who is the RCF sales manager in Greece, for a greeting. Please, Massimo.
Well, first of all, thank you all for attending this presentation, and a special thanks also to Panagiotis and Sirius Sound for letting us having this presentation to you. I really hope that it will be interesting, and I will act as a moderator. So in case you have any question at the end, just send a message below and I will open your channel so you can speak directly to Lucio. So if you have any question, please let us know. We'll do our best to help you. So I give back the speech to Lucio for the presentation. Thank you for participating.
Thank you very much, Massimo. Of course, if you want to write down your question in the chat, I can have a look at the chat, and if I can during the session, also I can answer the questions. So, of course, as Massimo said, first of all, I want to thank Panagiotis and Sirius Sound for organizing this event online. Of course, hoping to be able to come soon in Greece for live training session and product demo. And then, what can I say? In this 3 meeting, we are going to explore most of the RCF catalog, talking about active speaker systems. So starting today with the live sound. So talking about the products AMI oriented. That means products for musician, for bands, rehearsal band, for small gigs in club, piano bars, wedding, as well as DJ sets. Generally speaking, the whole world of small shows and events that can be managed directly from the end user without necessarily going through a professional figure. So in this case, it is a must start talking about art series. Probably the product series that allowed RCF to become one of the most major players worldwide. First in my application with art series, of course, and then in professional audio, as we will see in the next session next week, talking about line array, system design, etc., etc. So the development of these products of art series and the production of these speakers never stopped over the last 25 years until arriving at the products that now are on the market and which we will go to see in this moment. As you can see, we started with Art 300 in 1996 until now with the Art 9 series, and we will see later. The improvement of the sound quality increased every single series, and as you know, the ratio quality by price of these speakers are really amazing, comparing with the product of our competitors. So what we have now on the market is start talking about Art 7 series that even now we are shipping the R9 series. R7 series is still available, slightly different target price, and some consistent difference in terms of technologies and performance. So basically, talking about R7 series, we have the speakers. We share the same amplifier. So just one thing before go on. This session will not a session where I talk about spec sheet, reading all the spec sheet of all the products, because for that there is the website, for that there is our catalog. And so for this reason, I would like to speak about products, talking about application, talking about some way to use the products in the best way to get the maximum performance from them. Talking about coupling with subwoofers, for example, talking about settings and preset that you can use for different application. So let's have a global overview of the different products. So we have the R7 series with a 1-inch compression driver, and 8-inch, 10-inch, and 12-inch woofer here. In the next slide, we have 15-inch woofer sharing the same compression driver, 1-inch, and then we go with the products with bigger compression driver, 732, 735, and 745. 12-inch woofer, 15-inch woofer, and 15-inch woofer for the 745. So as you can see, the number of the products tell us some of the features of the product. For example, in 735, the 3 is the compression driver dimension, voice coil dimension. 7 is the power of the amplifier, and 5 means 15, talking about woofer. So sometimes, but not never, the number of the product give us some information about the product itself. As you can see, we have a titanium compression driver in the ART 735, 745, and 732, because these features give to the driver the capability of reproduce the very high frequency in a really consistent way. So, but what does it mean having the same product with 1-inch compression driver or with the 3-inch compression driver? For example, talking about 715 on 735. The difference is the dimension of the voice coil of the compression driver. So of the transducers that is reproducing the high frequencies. So bigger voice coils means lower crossover frequencies. It means that for example, talking about the ART 745, the crossover frequencies, if I remember well, is 600, 500, or 600 Hertz. It means that most of the vocal range, for example, come from the compression driver and not from the woofer. One of the most important features of compression driver is the transient response, is the velocity in reproducing audio material. For this reason, bigger compression driver have a fast, let's say, transient response at lower crossover frequencies. It means that the voice become in your face compared to the speakers with the smaller compression driver. Of course, bigger compression driver means more sound pressure level, and as I said before, most part of the vocal range coming out from a transducer able to be really fast in the reproduction. This means sound quality, and this means sound pressure level. So what is the choice that you have to do? What can I say? Another important things, all the compression driver, as you can see in this small clip that I put in the presentation, all the compression drivers that we put in our speakers are made in Italy, are made here in Reggio Emilia, especially the big compression driver that we put in the R7 series, with our standard, let's say, quality control and testing rooms. Because each product, before go for on the market, is tested for 20 hours continuously. That means almost 10 days continuously at full level, in full limiting, in order to be sure that the product is reliable and ready to go. So, applications. In my experience, the speakers with 1-inch compression driver, for example, the R715, is more suitable for full range application. For example, because the balance between the high frequencies and the low frequencies is more or less good. The speakers with bigger compression drivers have more sound pressure level in the mid frequency and high frequencies. And this means that you will need a subwoofer to work with them. You will reach more SPL, more consistency in the vocal range. But if you are going to do a live performance, for example, definitely with bigger compression drivers, you will need a subwoofer, because the speaker itself is not able to reproduce the low frequencies, because the compression drivers is very, very performing. So also for reproducing recorded music as DJ sets and so on, the speakers with 1-inch compression driver are suitable. Of course, also the speaker with 3- and 4-inch compression driver are suitable as well, but they need a subwoofer to consider, let's say, this system a system well balanced to reproduce music. Talking about the compression driver that are in the Art series, as you can see, 1-inch compression driver, R3 series as well as R7 series, have a crossover frequencies at 1,200 Hertz. Okay, 708, 710, 712, and 715. Then we go with the ND 840, the compression driver, 3-inch compression driver for the 732 and 735, and the crossover frequency is 600 Hertz, so very, very low. Of course, also 220 watt of power handling. And then the ND 940, the 4-inch compression driver for the Art 745 and also, as we will see, 945, the crossover frequency starts at 500 Hertz. So really, really low for a compression driver. Titanium diaphragm from very consistent high frequency reproduction, and very technological system to bring down the temperature, working in the most demanding application for this driver in particular. So this is what can I say more or less about Art7 series. Talking talking about the difference between models. Of course, I forget to speak the difference between the woofers, but of course you can imagine as the dimension of the woofer increase, the low frequency reproduction capability increase. Okay, so the low frequencies of 715 is more performing than the low frequencies of the 708. The subwoofer that can be used to match the ART7 series are the subs series 702, 705, and 708, respectively 12, 15, and 18-inch woofer, sharing the same power amplifier of the ART7 series. So we are talking about 1400 watt peak power. That means 700 watt RMS for all the models of subwoofer and for all the models of the ART7 series, except the 708, which has a smaller amplifier. If I remember well, we are talking about 800 watt peak power, 400 watt RMS. What is the rules to coupling the subs with the tops? Very simple rules. Increase the woofer dimension. So if we are working with a 10-inch woofer in the top, for example, with a 710, ART710, we have to increase the woofer dimension in the subwoofer. So 702 is suitable. If we are working with a ART715, the 702 is not suitable because the subwoofer is smaller than the woofer of the top. So with the subwoofer, we have to increase the dimension of the woofer. This is a very simple rules that must be followed to coupling together subwoofer with tops. As you see in the back panel, in all the subwoofer, we have a stereo input in order to be able to work with one subwoofer and two tops. And also we have some control to optimize the coupling of with the tops according with the tops model. In this case, we have the button in order to link or X over the link output. So if we link the X overs, means that if we link the output, it means that in the output we have exactly the same signal we have in the input without any kind of high pass. If we push this button, in the link output, there will be the X over. So the signal will be high passed according with the frequency we select with the second button. We have two possibilities, 80 Hz or 110 Hz to match the subwoofer with different products. Also, we have another switch managing the polarity of the sub. So according with the combination of these three control, we can optimize the coupling between ART7 series and subwoofer from 7 series. But how can you do? How can you know how to set this button, how to set the subwoofer in the proper way? As you can see in the right here, we have, let me see if there is some question. No, we have a document, very important document, that will guide you to set the system up in the proper way according with the system that you are using. For example, let me give you an example. This document is available in the knowledge base section of the website. At the end of these 3 webinars, I will share with you a link in order to download all these documents that will help also someone without big experience setting up a system to set the system up in the proper way in order to achieve punch in the crossover frequency, in order to optimize the system, in order to get the maximum performance from the system. This is really important. And as you can see, this is what there are inside this document. For example, if in this document there are all the tops that can be matched with most of our subs. For example, let's suppose to work with the ART715, and we have to match the ART715 with the subwoofer 708. We have to work with the crossover frequency at 8 Hz, polarity plus X over out without delay, of course, because in the subwoofer from 7 series there is no delay. As we will see in the subwoofer from different series, we have also the possibility to apply some delays in order to match exactly, to overlap the phase response of the 2 different systems in order to achieve the best performance that we can achieve with these products. So this is really important. As you can see, sometimes the polarity must be reversed. For example, if we use a 715 with the sub 705, we have to reverse the polarity. If we use the 702, doesn't make sense. Of course, I put anyway the possibility to use the 702 with the 715, but in my opinion, it doesn't make sense because the woofer dimension of the subs is smaller than the woofer of the top. Okay, but of course, if you have this, you can use this, but with these settings: a crossover frequency in this way, X over output, and polarity at 0 degrees. Okay, so another important things talking about R series. I have a lot of mails asking something about the power absorption, the power draw of these speakers, because there is a common error that most of the, let's say, unknowledge users do. They calculate the power absorption simply dividing the peak power by the voltage. So in this case, with the ART speakers, 1,400 watt divided by 220 volt, it means that an ART series will draw 6.3 amps at 220 volt. Doesn't make sense because we are talking about Class D amplifiers, and we are talking about music signal with a very high dynamic range. That means that the crest factor of the crest factor is very high. That means that the average absorption of speakers in this way is less than half this value. For this reason, we have another document, again in the knowledge base section, where for each product we indicate the maximum average absorption at 220 volts and 115 volts for those countries where this voltage is the network power supply distribution. And also how many speaker we can daisy chain with 116 amps line or 120 amps line at 115 volt. The reason is that the Class D amps needs power only in those moments where the music signal is higher. But as you listen also during my speech, there are a lot of moments where there is silence, okay? In the same way, during a live performance, there are moments, for example, when you kick in the kick drum, where we need all the power of the speakers, but just in that moment, okay? So if you do an average of 1 second, 2 seconds of music, because we're talking about power absorption, we are talking about average, not peak power request. You will see that with an R7 series at full level, let me see, the maximum power absorption is 2 amps for one box. Average, okay? It means that we can put up to 8 speakers with a 230 volt line, 16 amp. Okay? This is a big mistake to make the calculation dividing the watt by the voltage. This is a big mistake talking about Class D amplifier. Okay, that's what I wanted to say about how to use this box in the proper way. And this is true also for all the other speakers that we are going to see. So this is the rule of the power absorption. Look at the document in the knowledge base section, and as well as look at the document pre-delay alignment in order to set the proper preset, the proper polarity, and the proper set of the X over button in order to match in the best way as good as possible the coupling with your tops. Still talking about live sound, we have the HD series, D line. We have, generally speaking, the same products, okay, with the same composite material. So we are talking about very sturdy plastic composite material as the one of the R7 series. But the difference is the flat grid, okay? We have a flat shape instead of the classic shape of the R series. This comes from some requests coming from USA because they love the flat grid. So for this reason, we developed basically the same products, okay, with almost, talking about almost the same acoustic design, the same amplifier, the same power amplifiers. We are talking about very similar acoustic performance, but with a different look. This is the difference. In fact, we have 10-inch, 12-inch, and 15-inch woofer with 1-inch compression driver. And then we have a 3-inch compression driver with the 12-inch woofer, 3-inch compression driver with 15-inch woofer. And as the ART 745, we have the HDM 45 with the 4-inch compression driver and 15-inch woofer. The only difference that we see in the HDM 45 is that just in these models, we have RDNet on board. RDNet is not is our network, let's say, software to control our professional active systems, active speaker system, and not only. And just in this product, talking about live sound, we decided to put RDNet in order to use these products also in professional application, for example, as a front fill and as a small delay, and in order to have the possibility to control this box using a network with your PC. But we will talk about RDNet we will introduce RDNet in the next webinar, and in the last one we are going to use RDNet with a real system outdoor, with real measurement, and to simulate what is nowadays the workflow of RCF, talking about system monitoring and system control. Anyway, let's go on to talk about live sound. As you can see, a lot of products, most of our products, have this icon, Firphase. What is Firphase? We introduced the Firphase technology with R7 series MK4, the one that we see right now at the beginning of this presentation. The Firphase technology is an algorithm, a digital algorithm, that is in the internal DSP of each speaker that manage the phase response of the speakers. This is a quite new technology, not really new because we started to use Firphase a few years ago, but of course the development of the algorithm is always changing. We are always developing, and this algorithm in order to get always the maximum performance, as we will see with the R9 series. So what does it mean? You mean that in order to make the tuning of a speaker, we need to listen for it, and we need to adjust the weak points of the transducers using the internal DSP, using the internal mechanical element, for example, barriers, for example, reflex ports, for example, resonance barriers, and so on. Each cabinet has a resonance. We use the filters to adjust this frequency response to achieve the frequency response that we need for that particular product. So doing all these things, we will affect the phase response of the speakers. As you can see in this quick video, you can see what happened when I equalize a system applying, for example, a low pass, a high pass filter. This is a high pass filter, and this is what happened at the phase. Okay. The same things. If I apply a low pass filter, I reverse the polarity, as you can see. In the same way, if I apply an equalization, I will affect the phase of the speakers, creating, let's say, phase distortion. That means that what is going in the speaker in the input is not equal at the sound that we get from the output. Look at the phase in this moment. Okay, so it means that as soon as I apply an equalization at the speaker, I will affect the phase response of the speaker, introducing cancellation and introducing phase distortion. This is another picture that can show you what I'm trying to explain. This is the frequencies in the input that are arriving all in the same way, in the same moment, passing through the speakers, as you can see, due to the resonance of the speaker, due to the transducer features, due to the transducer resonances. The same frequencies will go out at different time. Okay? That means that the source is not, the input is not equal to the output. Okay, so with Firphase filter, we manage this the phase in order to compensate the phase distortion that comes from the DSP work. So this is our workflow. We measure the speakers and phase behavior. We modify the enclosure in order to achieve the sound that we want to achieve. And then, using the Firphase, we will bring and we will force the phase to be flat as it was in the input of the speakers, This result in a very, very transparent sound, coherent distribution for all listeners, because when we are talking about the sum of more than one speakers, not in this case art series, but line arrays, for example, we have a very coherent sum because the phase is flat. This is really important. You can feel the depth of the reverbs. You can feel the, you can see your sound in a very, very different way compared to speakers without FIR technology, so speakers where the phase is continuously rotating. So this is FIR technology. This is another example of a comparison with a picture. Okay, this is a speaker without Firphase. If I'm able to play this quick video, anyway, let me see if it is. No. Okay, I will give you this quick video in the link for download all the material of these webinars. Sorry for that. Let's see something a little bit more technical. This is the impulse response of the speakers without Firphase. As you can see, we have a lot of pollution after the impulse of the system, and this is the same system with Firphase. You can see that we have no pollution after the signal of the system. This is the phase rotation of a system without Firphase, and this is the phase rotation of the system with Firphase. As you can see, the phase rotate until 200 Hertz, more or less, and then it is flat. This is the impulse response with another view. So this is Firphase technology, RCF Firphase technology. So now let's go to talk about Art9 series, the last product that is in the Art series. We change almost all the technologies and all the transducers except a couple of compression driver, and we introduce two really important new technology with Art9 series. So let's have a quick overview of that. We have Firphase technology and we have bass motion control with a TRW waveguide. That means true resistive waveguide. Another technology, another design talking about the horn of these speakers. So let's talk about the basic features. We have a bigger amplifier compared to the R7 series, 2100 watt power amplifier, and with the 1400 watt for the low frequency, talking about peak power, and 700 watt for the HF. Combo XLR input with 3 selectable presets: stage, boost, and linear. Linear, of course, linear, boost for listening at low level, something compared to a loudness, and then stage for wedging positioning. Signal present and overload LED. You can see what there is inside the speaker. This is the CD351 new compression driver with Captain diaphragm. This is Captain. This is another very technological element of the new Art9 series. Captain is a material born for aerospace applications because it is really resistant to high temperature. It means that we can push and we can increase the power handling of the compression driver without the risk of burn it with Captain materials. Also, the linearity of the frequency response starting from 10 kHz is something unbelievable compared with the compression driver without this material. So this is a very big improvement. As I said before, this is the true resistive waveguide. The horn is different. This is the horn of the Art7 series. As you can see, it is smaller. The horn of the Art9 series is bigger because we move the reflex port of the speaker down in order to have more space for the horn. This results in a different coverage of the compression driver. Result in a more clarity and fidelity out off axis. In fact, one of the most important features of this compression driver is that you will perceive the same sound in axis and off axis. Of course, off axis, the SPL will decrease a little bit, okay, but the frequency response will be the same because of this new design. Another very important difference between the 7 series is the impedance of the low frequency transducer, which is 2 ohm, in order to fit the new amplifier load, which is very powerful in the Art7 series. But let's say the new technology, the real new in the Art9 series, that is something that we are going to put in all our loudspeaker, all our new loudspeaker nowadays, is the new bass motion control. The bass motion control as FIR filter is another algorithm that, of course, do other things in the low frequencies. Because until now, in order to avoid, in order to keep the speaker safe, we used peak limiters and high pass filter in the low frequencies. So as soon as the power will go above a certain level, the peak limiter will keep the transducer safe and also will squash the sound, will squash the sound because of the peak limiter. You will perceive very easily this if you push with the system over the system capability, and you will perceive the limiting of the internal DSP limiter. Of course, this is really important because this will avoid problems. Will avoid that your speaker will burn. but the sound quality will be affected from this. So with bass motion control, it is slightly different because what we did, we measure, okay, we physically measure the movement of the woofer at different frequencies, of course, in the woofer range, especially talking about low frequency from 30 to 100 hertz. And as you can see, as you know, maybe you know, every transducers have some point where it is really, really easy to go in crisis with the woofer. Okay, this change according with the woofer we are talking about. So we physically measure the movement of the woofer at different sound pressure level at different frequencies, and we develop this algorithm in order to limit the woofer only in those frequencies where the music materials have these frequencies that could put in crisis the transducers. This result in a incredible performance in terms of SPL compared to speakers without this technology, more extended low frequency, constant turbulent balance, and of course keeping keep the system, of course, safe, because this is an RCF must keep always the system safe. As you can see, the cabinet, the Art9 cabinet, is different because we have a flat grid designed with a rental mindset. Also, the cabinet is more stiffer and sturdier compared to the previous model because internally we have an embrace element that take all the walls of the internal enclosure, fix it together in order to increase the strongness of the enclosure. The models, we are talking about the same models of the Art7 series. So 1-inch compression driver, 910, 912, and 915, and 3-inch compression driver, 932 and 935, and 945, the pinnacle, with a 4-inch compression driver, and neodymium, of course, compression driver, and the 15-inch woofer. Talking about neodymium in general, when we put neodymium in our speakers, it means that we are talking about a magnet, the magnet of the transducers, with the same capability, but with 4 times less weight. Of course, in a transducer, the magnet is one of the hard things in terms of weight. Okay, and with the neodymium, we are going to have the same performance, but with 1/4 of weight. Talking about accessories, you can see we have all the accessories to use all the Art series, Art7, HD, and also Art9 series in different way. So it means pole mount, stand mount, some rigging points, accessories to pole mount on subs, covers, brackets to fix for install application, and so on. We have all the accessories that we need to use these speakers in different applications. So talking about the subwoofer that can be matched with Art9, a good choice is to go with the subs 905 or 8003 at least, because we are talking about speakers with 2100 watt of power, with high SPL capability compared to Art7 series. So we need bigger we need subwoofer with higher performance. Of course, we can use also subwoofer from 7 series, but in my opinion and in my experience, the subwoofer from 9 series and 8000 series is more suitable for Art9. In the same way, we have the document in order to set the subwoofer up in the proper way. And as you can see, this subwoofer series has a more extended capability in terms of selectable preset, in terms of crossover frequency. We have 4 different points. If I remember well, we have 50, 60, 70, and 80 and 90 hertz of crossover point, 30 and 40 high pass filter. We have also the possibility to apply a delay, gain reduction, and selectable presets. For example, if we are using an Art 912A with the subwoofer 8003, we have to work in X over out with the preset L2, and we have to apply 7 milliseconds of delay in order to match the phase with the tops. An important thing that is wrote in the document is that these values are measured with the speaker close each other. Okay, of course, if we will fly the speaker, we have to calculate the delta distance in order to add more delay according with the position of your speaker. But this is a very good starting point. So that's all about Art. That is Art and HD series. So we have Art 7 series, still very, very good products. And we have Art 9 series, new products with new technologies, with new performance, with a slightly different sound, slightly different price range, but both are really, really good products. Talking about stage monitors to match the Art series in live sound, not professional, not pro sound, we can use the ST series. We have the ST12 and ST15. 600 watt RMS with a 90 per 60 degrees of coverage. This is the internal layout of this monitor. Of course, we are talking about active monitor and Firphase technology. Okay, so these are our entry-level series of monitor that can be matched MI application. Okay, if you want to see more details about this, of course, there is a spec sheet. There is our catalog. All our stage monitor can be used also as speakers, because you can see you can pole mount the speakers as it was a standard speaker. You can do it, even if in my opinion is not a good decision, but if you don't have another option, you can do it, and that's it. So let's go on with the NX series. Let's go fast to talk about this, because we are talking about Art series, but in wood. So same component, same amplifier, but Baltic birch enclosure. We are talking about wooden cabinet. So more tour grade oriented, more professional oriented. We are in between live sound and professional sound, because we are still talking about point sources without RDNet, without network, but we are start talking about wooden cabinet, sometimes power con sockets, talking about power supplied instead of VDA sockets. So something a little more in the professional, let's say, world. We have 10-inch with 1-inch compression driver, 12-inch 3-inch compression driver, 15-inch woofer with 4-inch compression driver, same amplifier of R series. And then this is the old NX series with these 3 products. Then we have the new NX9 series. That is to be to spend just 2 words. Art 9 series in wood. Exactly the same concept of the previous NX series. We are talking about 3 models with the ones with the 1-inch compression driver, but same component, same technologies, so Firphase, bass motion control, same amplifier, same components, but wooden cabinet. A slightly different sound, because wooden cabinets have different resonances compared to composite cabinet. And probably the common perception is that wooden cabinets are more professional oriented, even if it is not my opinion, because now with the new technologies and the new embrace element, even the composite material of the Art 9 series are suitable for professional and touring applications. The difference can be detected just by your ears, because we are talking about very, very similar products. So you have, it depends on your taste. Applications are more or less the same. The only difference is the enclosure material. We have 3 models: 910, 912, and 915, with the same compression driver and 10, 12, and 15-inch woofer. This is another view of the models available, talking about NX series, the new NX9 series. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat. Okay. And as in the Art series, we have all the accessory we need to use these boxes in different ways for install application, pole mount, wall mount, flown, with and also we have the covers available. I forgot to say that all these boxes are water resistant, so they can work also if with slightly rain. Going on in Pro Sound, in between live and Pro Sound, we are a little bit late, so let me jump in the NXL column series. We have 2 new products in this series, in our column series. What does it mean, a column series compared to a point source? It means basically a narrow vertical coverage for long throw. This is the difference between a sound column and a classic speaker. Also, another difference, of course, is that a sound column is slim, so very, very good for theater application, where you can put these speakers left and right, and very silent because they have no fan, and flyable because we have all the accessory to fly the speaker. We have fly bars And also we can couple two speakers to create a big column. These are very interesting. We have NXL24 and NXL44, two new products. Of course, we have this. We share the same amplifier of the Art9 series, bass motion control, and Firphase. So all the last RCF technologies are inside the new NXL 24 and 44 sound column. This is an internal view of the NXL 24. We have 4 times 6-inch neodymium woofer, and we have 3 titanium neodymium compression driver. Okay, for this reason the crossover is 80 Hz. But the most important, one of the most interesting features of this box is that can be used also in this way, coupling two boxes, creating a sound column with the box staying upside down in order to coupling the 2 compression driver. For this reason, you can use maximum 2 boxes, but you can create a really long sound column, very interesting for theater application. And why not outdoor application? You can pole mount on a subs. You can fly the speaker because, as you can see, that we have the fly bars. We have all the accessory to use this speaker in different way. And you see in the first slide that of the introduction of NXL, you see that we have the GLL files to create our simulation using ease focus. So very important to simulate the behavior of this speaker before going the venue. In the same way, the NXL, sorry, this is a mistake in the slide. This is the NXL 44. We are talking about 3 times 10-inch neodymium woofer with the same compression driver. Okay, so the same amplifier of the Art9 series, so 2100 watt, but in a sound column with 3 times 10-inch woofer. So in this combination, we can start thinking to use this box also outdoor, also in small square for small gigs, but it is starting to be interesting also to use, to fly these speakers in big theater as well as in small square. We have fly bars, we have GLL for ease focus simulation, and all the accessories to set it up in different, for different application. So a brief recap of NX series. We have the NX old models that are very similar to the Art7 series, but in wood. We have the NX9 series, 3 models with 1-inch compression driver, exactly equal to Art9 series, but in wood, with wooden enclosure. And then we have NXL 24 and 44 new sound column, Baltic birch, wooden cabinet, but with sound column technologies. That means narrow vertical coverage for long throw. Different application in between from live sound and pro sound. We have also 3 models of stage monitors suitable for NX series, but why not also from Art series? A little bit more performing compared to the ST series. We have 3 models, 10-inch, 12-inch, and 15 woofer, sharing the same amplifier of the Art series, except the NX10 that is using the 800 watt peak power digital power amplifier. In all the three models, we have Captain dome. That means the same material I told about Art9 series. So we have a Captain dome in the compression driver, but in my opinion, the most important features of these three stage monitors is that they are coaxial. So the coverage of these stage monitor are symmetrical, 60x60. As you can see, they are coaxial stage monitor. So really constant coverage, and of course they can be used also as normal speaker in stand mount. But of course they are designed to be used as a stage monitor. So let's run to talk about Evox series. So this is our live sound line talking about sound column. In this moment, we have two models available. We have the Evox 12 and the Evox J Mix 8 and J8. Basically, as you can see in this picture, the Evox technologies is something that put a lot of small transducers in a sound column. In this case, you can see this is the internal view of the Evox 12. We have 8 time the same full range transducer. Okay, the same 4-inch full range transducers, and then we have the subwoofer on the ground. So this is not two speakers. This is one unique speaker because the amplifier is at the bottom and the top is passive. So it is not possible to work just with the top or just with the sub. We share the same amplifier of the Art7 series. We are talking always of the same amplifier, 1400 watt peak power, 700 watt RMS. And but the Evox series, what does it mean? Something like this. It means a very thin top. That means wide horizontal coverage, but something like a small line array effect, because this is something compared to a small line array that result in a quite long throw for a speaker of this dimension. The crossover frequencies of the Evox series is 180, so quite high compared to a common system. For this reason, it is not possible to use the Evox series independently, tops and sub, even because the tops is passive. And the Evox J Mix 8 is quite interesting because we have a digital mixer on board, 8-channel digital mixer with some interesting features. So what is the difference between Evox J Mix 8 and Evox J8? We are talking about the same box, but the Evox J Mix has the mixer on board. We can control the mixer, the digital mixer on board, even with the iOS or Android application. And we have some interesting features to control and to change the mixer settings. We have also the input channel 4 with the amp modeling. We have an amplifier, a guitar and bass simulator. Really interesting for guitar and bass player that can plug directly his instrument here and leaving the the amplifier at home. This is a view of the Evox J Mix Mixer. We have 4 microphone or line input, or 2 line input 5 and 6, and another 2 line input that can be used also for USB streaming. From you can stream audio from your phone or from your tablet directly to the Evox. And also in the channel 7 and 8, there is a ducker coming from the input 1. Ducker is something that bring down the level of the 7 and 8 channels when you talk. Very important if you are using this box talking over background music. We have internal effect, very good internal effect. The same effect of the M18. If you already know the M18 mixer, we are talking about a really good reverberation. We have 40 reverbs, 20 delay, and 20 modulation effects that we can apply in send in all the channel of the J Mix. Talking about the main out, we have a graphical equalizer to adapt and to equalize the system to let's say tune the system according with the venue, according with our need. And also we have few algorithm as mastering processor in order to control a little bit the dynamics of the speakers. Evox Series in this case has the same application of the R series. So we are talking about small gigs, small bands, weddings, piano bars, exactly the same application but different look. Okay, different look and also different way to use the Evox J Mix in particular, because there is a mixer on board. So this is a small PA, let's say. There is all you need to achieve the performance of a small PA, because there is also an aux output in order to manage a stage monitor. So with an Evox J Mix plus an Evox J, you have a small PA, also able to manage stage monitors, effect, and also amp modeling. As you can see, we have the aux out here. And here we have some views of the app. You can see the graphic equalizer in the output, as well as the same graphic equalizer is in the aux output. You can equalize differently the master out and the aux output and the aux out. You have some virtual amplifier in the input channel 4, as well as some stomps, some guitar stomps in order to simulate distortion, chorus, wah-wah, and so on. Quite interesting products in order to carry also easily this product in your venue, because there is the covers with wheels. So for all the other features talking about Evox, I invite you to go in the website and read carefully the features. I'm sorry because I am a little bit late but if you are agree, we can spend the last 15 minutes to finish this presentation, because I would like to talk about two products, the digital mixer. We have the M18 or M20. If you agree, Panagiotis, I can spend 15 minutes to talk about this, and then of course we can continue to talk about this also in the next session the next week. depend on the availability. Anyway, yes, of course. Okay, thank you, Panagiotis. Talking about digital mixer, we have two devices. We have the M18, which is a digital mixer designed for musician, basically designed for musician. From here comes all the algorithm that we developed as reverbs. It is really interesting talking about reverberation, this mixer, and really interesting also for other features that we are going to see. This is designed for band, singer, small band, and also guitar and bass player, because here we have 2-channel or full amp modeling, developed in combination with overloud, together with overloud. There is an internal Wi-Fi. As you can see, there is no control in the front panel of the mixer. So this is basically a stage box. Okay, so you place this mixer on the stage, and the control is via Wi-Fi using tablets, Android, and as well as iOS. You can connect up to 7 devices. So it could be the device for the front of house engineer, if there is the front of house engineer, and also each musician can manage its monitor with its phone. This is the view of the rear panel. We have 8 microphone input with phantom power and 10 line input. 2 of them have the high impedance capability in order to plug directly guitar on bass. As you can see here, there is a view of the overloud plugin that is basically a Fender Twin dark phase, and there are several other amp modeling presets using also Mark bass plugin, different kind of stomps. All these stomps can be controlled using a MIDI pedal board, exactly as a guitar player do usually with a real processors, but using just the M18. This is a really good features. We also called here in RCF important guitar player in Italy to test and to develop presets for the M18, and they came with their equipment, with their analog equipment, amplifiers, and we worked some days in order to achieve the same sound that they had with their amplifiers, in order to have the same sound result with the M18. And to be honest, we went really close to the sound, to the analog sound. So it is a really interesting feature. Another good features of the M18, as you can see, there is an USB port in the back panel. This is a player, but this is not a standard 2 stereo player. This is a 4-track player. Of course, you can play stereo material. Okay, you can play MP3, WAV, and AIFF files, but you can build your 4-track material for background application. For example, you can have your background sequence for your live application in channel 1 and 2, and then you can have the click for the drummer and another tracks for spare tracks. So really important, because with M18 you can manage your band. You can also send your background tracks plus click in stereo plus click. So this is a device designed for musician and why not piano bars, but basically small bands. This is a really good features because without computers you can play multi-tracks files with a so small device. Yes, this is the 4 tracks will be present in the mixer in the iPad. You will see, and of course with the app of the tablet, you will have the possibility to manage to send on fader 6 different aux output for 6 different monitors and 3 effects send, plus left and right XLR output. So basically we are talking about 8 output, left, right, and 6 individual monitor. In the master section, we have a full band parametric equalizer, a 4-band parametric equalizer, plus a graphic equalizer 1/3 of octave to, of course, equalize the system according with your need. This is the M18. Talking about the other mixer that I want to speak about, I want to speak about the M20X digital mixer. This is our new compact desktop digital mixer. Quite interesting product because of, first of all, the dimension is really small. And then we put some interesting features compared to our competitors in this price range and in this product range, because you can see many products in this kind of digital mixer from other brands, but we put some interesting features that I am going to explain you. First of all, we have an SD card multi-track recorder on board. So we can have multi-track recording without connecting an external computer. This is really good because you can insert your SD card here and you will record 24 tracks in 48 kilohertz, 24-bit WAV. And with this, you can do also a virtual sound check, as we will see. We have 10+1 motorized fader and 4 effects available, 1, 2, 3, 4, that we can send on fader. This is the rear view of the M10X. We have 16 microphone input, plus 2-line input on the back panel and 2-line input on the front panel, as a quarter mini jack in order to plug directly your phone and finding your phone in the channel 19 and 20. We have 8 output XLR plus 2 output balanced quarter-inch jack plus left and right XLR output and AES-ABU output. USB audio, because we can connect the M20 to a computer in order to use the M20 as audio card, as a 24 I/O audio card. And also there is the Ethernet connection in order to use the app to connect a switch in order to use the Android and iOS application to control the mixer remotely, as well as the M18. So the M20X fader layers, we have 4 fader layers in 110, in 1112, and effects and effect send and custom fader and mix out. By pressing these 4 buttons, we can go in the 4 different, let's say, fader view, and of course manage the fader inputs, the fader, the effect send, and the fader mix output, as well as most of the mixer in this range. You can see also 2 USB ports in the control surface, with which we can insert an USB card for a stereo player, the SD card slot, and the USB-B port in order to insert a Wi-Fi dongle to create the Wi-Fi to connect the M20X with the Android and iOS devices. Pressing this button, we are going to select the different channels, and for each channels we have the common, let's say, DSP capability. So we have in the preamp section, we have the polarity, the phantom power, high pass filter. We can link the channels, and also we can apply delay. There is for each channel a noise gate with the standard, with the relevant parameters. There is a compressor. There is a compressor that can become a de-esser if you need, and also a full parametric equalizer with 4 bands and with selectable presets. There is another view when we can see all the input and output related at that channel. If there is pre or post fader, what is going on in that channel, talking about I/O. Another interesting features of the M20X is the user key buttons, because we can assign a lot of custom function at this button. For example, using this mixer, what I do usually when I go to make a sound check, I assign to a couple of user keys the input routing all analog when I have the band on the stage, and then just pressing one button, I can load the I/O preset where I can get the sound from the SD card. So real sound check, I record the 24 tracks multi-track, then the band can go out of the stage, and I can play the same song without the band on the stage, doing virtual sound check, going on the stage, adjusting the monitors, going in different point of the venue, adjusting the mix, etc., etc. This is a really good feature that you can use without connecting an external computer, simply walking in the venue and play and stop the material in multi-track from your iPad or your phone. This is the most important features, in my opinion, of the M20X. And also there are several other common function that we can assign at the user key: play, record, mute controls, group muting, show, save and load, adding control. There is a complete list of function that we can assign to the M20X user key. So of course, further information, there is the manual, there is a lot of video tutorial online. This is just an overview of the M20. This webinar was just an overview of our live sound products, basically Art, HD, NX, Sirius, stage monitors, and subwoofer, plus a couple of devices talking about digital mixers, plus Here you can see the reverb plugin that are in the mixer, and on the main output we have a full 8-band parametric equalizer plus a full graphic 1/3 of octave equalizer that can be sent on fader. These are some view of the Wi-Fi capability. I want to underline that we have our own USB Wi-Fi dongle, because the mixer born with the possibility to plug also Wi-Fi dongle from other brands, but we had some problems with the drivers, because some dongles changed the chipset, so they were no more compatible with the M20X. For this reason, we decided to develop, to choose our own Wi-Fi dongle that we are sure that is working properly with the M20X. Of course, we can use an external access point, a TCP/IP access point, as usual, to create our Wi-Fi. With Android device, we can do USB tethering, so we can connect the M20 directly with a USB cable, but just with Android device. So I invite you to download the app and play with the app if you don't know the app, because it is available for free in Play Store and Apple Store. And there is a lot of tutorials that you can see to go deep in the M20X features. It is a quite good digital mixer, especially for the multi-track recorder on board on SD card. Of course, the equalizer, everything on board in the mixer and in the app is touch, so you can use your finger to equalize easily and change the parameters of the mixer. So last thing, a couple of minutes to see very quickly our F-Series mixing console, very quickly. This is our analog mixer. Not more to say. This is 5 different models. The difference between these models basically are just the number of channels. I can say that these are the key point of these mixers. Robust and attractive design, housed in a standard metal chassis. So these mixers are very strong, and has the common control of the analog mixer in this price range. We have 6 channels, 10 channels, 12 channels, 16 channels, and 24 channels. The difference is also the aux send, that we have just 1 aux send in the first 3 models and 3 aux send in the 16 and 24 channel. And we have on board the Pro DSP effect of the M18 with 15 selectable effect, reverbs, delay, etc. This is some more detailed view of the mixer. We have the 6 channel, the 10. From the 10 and up, we have also the possibility to have the USB stereo recording and playback without Windows and Mac driver. So the device is seen by the computers without any driver. and the changes between the models are just the number of input channels. We have also another interesting function. In some of the inputs, we have a single control compressor, very easy to use for the musician. They can reduce the dynamic range of his performance just with one knob, and that's it. So I'm really sorry for the delay, but probably the things to do are there was a lot of things to do. If you want to say something, please do it now. You can write some question if you have some question. I hope that this kind of informal webinar has been useful for you. And then, what can I say? Thank you very much for your attention, and let's see you next week for more professional and pro audio seminars, talking about system design, talking about line arrays, and talking about RDNet network control software. Thank you very much, Thomas. So why Ioannis is asking why 9006 AS2 has no power button. Usually we decided to remove the power button in most of our professional speakers because there was the risk of forget the device off when you are far from your device. So in live sound in my application, we keep the power button, but in the professional product, we decided to remove the power button. Thank you, Panagiotis. Thank you. Thank you too. Okay. So, thanks, Massimo. Thanks to everybody. And see you next week. Let me stop the recording.